Marc had been married for over 15 years. Married, yes, but faithful? Not really. Lately, his eyes wandered across social networks, dating apps. He felt neglected, ignored, or so he told himself. One day, between meetings, he got a notification. A woman had messaged him. Her username was Elisa_Moon84. A blurry black and white photo, soft eyes, and a cryptic bio. He hesitated, then replied. The conversations began, at first innocent, then deeper, more personal. She claimed to live far away, to be lonely, to understand his frustrations. Marc got hooked. He logged on late at night, lied to his wife, smiled like a teenager at his phone. With Elisa, he laughed, dreamed, forgot the rest. What he didn't know was that Elisa wasn't a stranger. She was his own wife, Claire. She had seen everything, understood everything. A friend had spotted Marc's profile on several dating apps, and the truth crushed her. But Claire didn't cry. No, she thought, long and carefully. She said to herself, he wants to cheat again? This time will be the last. So she created a fake identity, a new persona. And Marc, like a fool, swallowed the bait, without knowing he was about to lose far more than a flirtation. Marc became addicted to Elisa. He couldn't go a single day without messaging her. At the office, in his car, even in the bathroom. Each text gave him a rush of excitement. Elisa was perfect, sweet, understanding, mysterious. She never asked too many questions. Never tried to invade his space, only to understand him. Claire watched it all unfold. Every message he sent, every lie he told at home. She read them, felt them, took notes. The plan grew in her mind like a masterpiece. One day, Elisa revealed she was sick. Not a cold, no. Something worse. She wrote, I didn't want to worry you, but I have a rare disease. My only hope is an extremely expensive surgery. I'm ashamed to say this, but I have no one else to turn to. Marc was shaken. He had always loved feeling useful, like a savior. He thought, what if it's serious? What if I could save her life? He had no clue. None. That he was funding his own downfall. Because behind the screen, Elisa was smiling, but not with love. It was the smile of revenge. And Claire had just opened the first trapdoor. A few days later, Elisa messaged again. Her voice shook in a voice note. She said she hadn't slept. I hate to burden you, but I need a miracle. The surgery I told you about costs $800,000. It's insane, I know, but without it, I'll die. Marc froze at the screen. $800,000? That was huge. But he had money, plenty of it. He managed the family's finances, and there was a shared savings account. His wife trusted him blindly, or so he thought. Claire had already been monitoring everything. She stayed quiet, watching every transaction, every transfer. Marc replied, I'll see what I can do. I want to help. You matter to me. Elisa sent a fake medical bill, false prescriptions, forged hospital documents. It all looked real. Claire had covered every angle. Marc hesitated, then said to himself, I can't let her die, even if it's crazy. I have to help her. He transferred $500,000 first, then another $300,000. That was it. The first part of the scam was complete, but Claire was just getting started. A week passed. Marc was anxious. Elisa barely replied. Then she came back. The operation went well, but Marc frowned. The post-op care is intense, extremely expensive. We're talking $500,000 over 3 months for treatment. Marc was exhausted. He had already taken a huge risk. But this woman, she had touched him. He felt responsible. He didn't want her to think he was abandoning her. Claire relished every phase. She had it all mapped out. Fake hospital reps, fake bills, fake recovery centers. Marc wired the money again. This time, directly from the joint account. Another $500,000. At this point, he had withdrawn $1.3 million. Without telling his wife. Without even suspecting that Claire was sleeping in the same bed, making his coffee every morning, smiling as she plotted. Marc thought he was saving a life, but he was digging his own grave, and the ground beneath him was crumbling fast. Then, nothing. Elisa disappeared. No messages, no replies, no trace. Marc went from worried to panicked. He sent dozens of texts. Are you okay? Please respond. You're scaring me. But silence was all that came back. Only emptiness. Claire had closed the curtain. The act was over. The play, flawlessly performed. She knew he would unravel. She just waited for him to crash. Marc tried calling the hospital. Invalid number. Non-existent address. All the documents, fake. He began to feel the truth creep in. And with it, a cold sweat. He checked the accounts. His heart stopped. $1.3 million. Gone. Split into international transfers. Untraceable. He didn't dare tell Claire. Not yet. He still hoped for a miracle. An explanation. But what he didn't know was that Claire already knew everything. And the worst was yet to come. 1 week later, Claire woke up earlier than usual. She was calm, dressed, graceful. She waited until Marc got out of the shower, then placed an envelope on the table. A simple note. Read me. Marc opened it. Inside, screenshots. His messages with Elisa. The bank transfers. Photos of the fake profile. And a letter, written by hand. You thought you could keep cheating? That I wouldn't notice. But this time, I saw everything. And I chose to strike back. Marc froze. His legs trembled. Claire stepped into the room. It was me, Marc. Elisa was me. He stammered. You drained our account. No, Marc. I drained my patience staying with you. Now I'm leaving. With everything. And you won't stop me. Without another word. She walked out of his life. Marc tried to chase her. To call her. To talk. But Claire had cut all ties. Then came the children. Teenagers now. And Claire told them everything. Not with rage. Not with hate. Just the truth. Your father cheated for years. And I finally decided I wouldn't be his victim anymore. The kids were stunned, disgusted. Marc tried to explain, but every word sounded hollow. You got played by your own wife? You really thought she was someone else? They looked at him with shame, like he wasn't their father. Just a fool. A liar. He tried to make it right. To apologize. To cry. But the bonds were broken. Too late. Claire had taken more than money. She had taken respect. And the sting of rejection. Marc was alone. No wife. No children. No money. No excuses left. The divorce was quick. Claire didn't ask for more. She already had everything. Local media had a field day. A man ruined by an online romance, where the scammer was his own wife. The story went viral on forums. Podcasts picked it up. Even a radio show ran a segment. The cheating husband caught by his wife. When karma wears a familiar face. At work, people whispered behind his back. His clients vanished. His friends disappeared. No one wanted to be associated with him. With that scandal, Marc sank deeper. Depression, alcohol, isolation. He reread the messages again and again, trying to figure out when he became so stupid. But the truth was, he always thought he was smarter than the rest. Discreet. And Claire reminded him that no one's untouchable, not even professional liars. In his small, empty apartment, Marc spent his days staring at the ceiling, or rereading that letter Claire left. You had everything, and you threw it away for a fantasy. He wished he could go back. Start again. Be honest. But the truth was, he didn't even remember what honesty felt like. Too many lies. Too many masks. One night, he sent Claire a message. I'm sorry. You were right. No response. Just seen, cold and final. He messaged his children. I messed up. I'm sorry. Nothing. Silence. Again. Always. He had lost it all. But most of all, he had lost himself. And no one was coming to find him. Years went by. Marc became a forgotten name in the lives he once touched. Claire moved on. No bitterness. Just grace. She opened a consulting firm for women recovering from betrayal. She sometimes told her story, not for revenge, but to warn. Marc, he lived alone, in a tiny two-room apartment. No photos on the walls, no laughter in the halls. Every morning, he sipped coffee and thought of Elisa, not Claire. No, Elisa, the character, the one who destroyed him. Sometimes he wondered, what if I had resisted? What if I had just loved the woman I had? But it was too late. Infidelity had a cost, and Claire made him pay, to the very last cent. The seasons passed. Marc grew older. Each wrinkle told a story. He tried to rebuild. But what's the point when no one believes in you anymore? He had written dozens of letters to Claire. No replies. Not even a receipt confirmation. He sometimes checked on her online. She glowed. Photos from conferences, interviews, podcasts. He discovered she had given a TEDx talk. Topic: reclaiming power after betrayal. He watched it on repeat. I spent 15 years building a home, while my husband built lies. One day, I decided that was enough. He wanted to cheat again, so he did, with me. The audience laughed, applauded. Marc cried. That voice, the one he betrayed so many times, was now a voice of justice. He had become a symbol of men undone by their own deceit. That night, he slept with a different ache. Not shame, but realization. He had lost, and maybe he deserved to. One day, Marc ran into his son, Thomas, in a grocery store aisle. Thomas saw him, paused, then looked away. Marc walked over, cautiously. Thomas, can we talk for a minute? No reply, just a cold, distant stare. I'm sorry, I ruined everything. But I love you, your sister, your mother. I never wanted it to end like this. Thomas exhaled deeply, then finally muttered, Dad, we waited for you so many times, but you never came. You always lied. So one day, we just stopped waiting. Marc lowered his gaze. He didn't deserve forgiveness, but he needed it. I can't fix it, but I'll step back, if that's what you want. Thomas nodded. That's all we ask. Then he walked away, not in anger, not in hate, just distant. Marc watched him leave and knew that some bridges, once burned, never rebuilt. He left the store, heart heavier than ever. One winter evening, Marc received a package. No return address, just a plain box. Inside, a book. Title, The Cost of Blindness. Author, Claire Dumont. Marc froze. He opened it. To every woman betrayed, and to everyone who found strength in silence. Marc read the book in one night. Every chapter cut deep. She told their story, start to finish. Never named him, but everyone would know. She described the weight, the pain, the moment she chose to fight back, not out of hate, but to make sure he saw it, and that others learned. Marc closed the book, eyes damp. She never wanted him to die, only to wake up. Now he was wide awake, but utterly alone. In the dark time, the one thing you never get back. Marc realized that more each day. His hair turned gray. His phone never rang. His dreams, long gone. He tried volunteering, helping young people at a local nonprofit. But wherever he went, his name followed him. Isn't that the guy from the scandal? He didn't resent Claire anymore. He still wrote her sometimes, just to say, hope you're well. She never answered. Still, he wrote, not for a reply, but to soothe the only thing left inside him, regret. Sometimes people listen to him speak. He'd say, be honest, even when it's hard, because what you hide eventually explodes. In those moments, he felt like he mattered again. But at night, silence always returned, and so did her face. Not Elisa's, but Claire's, the woman he never deserved. One morning, he received an email. Short, plain, I forgive you, but I'll never come back. Claire. Marc sat down. He read the words again, and again, and again. Something inside him shattered, and something else released. He no longer waited. No return, no second chance, no miracle, only peace. He printed the message, framed it, set it on the mantle, next to an old photo. Claire, smiling, before the betrayal. He had no money left, no family, but that frame was all he had. A reminder of what he lost, and what he would never betray again. The circle was complete, the story over, and Marc finally understood.